Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. I hope you're having a good one. Here's today's Sunday Roundup. It's when I take a step back and look at what's going on in the previous week so I can kind of see what's going on or what I expect in the coming week. So there's been a lot. So we've got the Bitcoin halving event happening. We've got Bitcoin volatility, regulatory and legal issues. And, I'm looking at my notes. Innovation and adoption. And, just other general issues that are there. There's a lot. There's a lot to unpack. So let's start with things like the Bitcoin halving. What that means is that right now there are 900 Bitcoin being mined every day. You've got more than 900 Bitcoin being bought up every day. Mr. 100 is buying up 900 all by himself. That's huge. Then, of course, you have all the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and then you have regulars like us, retail investors that are buying Bitcoin. After the halving event, it'll be harder to do that. One company that's actually preparing for that is Riot. Riot is definitely making bold moves. What they've decided, they're a Bitcoin miner. What they've decided is they've already doubled their mining capacity. Which means that even though everything will become half, they're saying we're going to be able to maintain our mining capacity. Wow. Riot's not playing games. Riot is not playing games. We saw Bitcoin plunge over 8% over the past week. We've seen major amounts of people, major amounts of money go in and out of Bitcoin. We've seen Grayscale just hemorrhage all kinds of money. And I told you about that. I told you that the reason why Grayscale is hemorrhaging money, right? Hemorrhaging all that Bitcoin is for one main reason. They need the cash. Their parent company, Digital Currency Group, needs the cash to pay debt. Not only do they need the cash to pay debt, but it's big debt. So that's why they need the cash. I think that's why you saw Grayscale, selling off so much. Now, with that beyond us, you have all kinds of regulatory issues going on around the world. But let's stick with this Bitcoin story for a minute. You've got spot ETFs popping up in other countries, right? And even beyond Bitcoin, you have other countries that are looking at Ethereum spot ETFs. If that happens, and it will happen, it could happen in Asia first. If that happens, you're going to see Ethereum pop up. Here's something that I haven't heard anybody talk about. Not a single soul, except me. I said it once. Was it this past week or the week before last? Give me a moment. I need a sip of this cappuccino. I don't know why, but I love coffee. I don't love coffee. I really like coffee. But I love cappuccino. And I usually have 1 or 2 cups a day, and then I'm on to tea. But with regard to this whole Ethereum thing, everybody's talking about Ethereum. You know what I said once before? A Solana spot ETF. And I had said it to somebody, and they asked me why. I said, well, because Solana has the capacity to handle, that level of, or even beyond the level of transactions that Ethereum does at a faster speed. That means that I'd be able to walk into a store, buy a bag of chips, or buy my coffee and a bacon, egg, and cheese. Like I like to joke, I'm from New York. Bacon, egg, and cheese is one word. It's one word, just a lot of syllables. It's one word. So you walk in there, you ask for your Café Bustelo and your bacon, egg, and cheese, and you pay with crypto. Boop. You need something fast enough to be able to handle that boop. Because when you're doing a credit card transaction, that's like, what, a minute? 60 seconds or less at the register. Even though that transaction's not complete at the register, it gives everybody the idea that it's complete at the register. The difference is with crypto, if it happens that fast, that transaction is done. Vendor got their money, person got their goods, keep it moving. In New York, that's what we're all about. Here's my coffee, here's my bacon, egg, and cheese, Here's your $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. I'm out the door. Boom. I want it fast like that. Solana can do it. There are a couple of coins that can do it. Solana can do it. Cardano can do it. There are a few coins out there that can move that fast. I think Hedera could do it. I have to look at their numbers again, but I think Hedera Hashgraph could do it too. I know XLM could do it. I know XRP could do it. And then you're just looking at the fees involved, right? That's it. So you're not going to pay for it, you know, a bacon, egg, and cheese with your Cafe Bustelo at the corner bodega, right? You're not going to pay for that with Bitcoin. The fees are too high and it's too slow of a transaction. You're not going to do it with Ethereum. Why? The fees are too high. It can handle the transactions, but the fees are too high. So that's something that you're going to wonder about, which is why the Dencun upgrade was a very important one, because it made it better for all the level 2s, but it didn't make it better for Ethereum. Now, when you think about the level 2s, well, Polygon's already there. Polygon's already fast. I've transferred money with Polygon crazy quick. Like, pour myself a glass of water quick. Like, go rinse my fingertips quick. So there are things out there that move fast enough for a daily transaction, and that's where adoption comes in. That's what I'm looking at, right? So when I look at, you know, regulatory compliance, when I look at normal adoption, I'm looking at what regulatory compliance issues can affect retail adoption. People like us being able to walk into a store, buy something, and walk the hell out. Overseas, I think a couple of the Nordic countries, places in Asia like South Korea, you can walk in and boop and walk the hell out. In the United States, we're slow. Why is that? Regulatory compliance. Regulatory compliance. I also think because I'm always upfront with you guys, and you know this. I own a web hosting company, and so my perspective is that we've integrated crypto into our web platform. I think adoption is going to happen there first. It's going to happen at special events and e-commerce sites. The reason why I say that is because it's not an immediate thing. I don't need it to happen immediately. I've got a little bit of time before something happens. That's why I'm looking at more adoption. I'm looking at things that are going to be driving adoption for the next few months. The Halving event happens in less than 30 days. Let me go look. I can go look that up right now. The Halving event is supposed to happen in about 26 days or so, give or take. But I'm looking for more adoption. Not that meme coin craze, not that inflated meme coin craze. I don't like the meme coin space, and the reason why is because I feel like it's a bubble. I feel like with all of this big money behind buying coins and doing all that, number one becomes, less centralized because they're buying up a lot of the coins and artificially inflating the prices. And at some point that's going to dissipate. That's going to go away. Is it anytime soon? Doubtful. But at some point it's going to have an effect, unless they don't sell and they just go on forever with the prices at where they are. And, then it starts there. But at some point you're going to want to recoup your money. $100 million fund there, $1 billion fund there, $1 million fund here. It all adds up. But until somebody can tell me this is what we're going to do, this is what the plan is, to me, those are bubbles. To me, it's all about big bubble. Now, can I make money off those bubbles? Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I will. But I'm very cautious about what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. You know me. I'm all about purchasing coins that have a specific use case or use cases. So looking forward, I'm not looking at memes. I'm looking at companies that are talking about tokenization. Look at BlackRock and Securitize, partnering up together to create that whole space where they're talking about tokenization of real world assets. That's where I think things are going to be, right? In terms of tokenization, that's big business. In terms of regular everyday adoption, that's retail business. Those are the things I'm looking at. I'm looking for somebody to start talking about a Solana, spot ETF. Why? Because Solana's on fire. There are a lot of meme coins on Solana, but Solana has something to its advantage in that it also has a number of DEXs popping up that are actually doing something. You have a DEX, that means people are doing swaps on there. People are doing business, they're transacting. But anything that's 100% driven by a meme coin, yeah, I'm not feeling you. Nope. Not feeling it at all. Now my kids are in the kitchen cracking up. And I think Stitch is in there too, so he might not come in here and say hello to you guys. Sorry. I'll talk to him about it. We'll have a tete-a-tete. But seriously, when I think about adoption, these are the things that I'm contemplating, right? You know, the UK Parliament or the EU Parliament is actually talking about not allowing or banning. They're not even talking about it. They're doing it. They're banning anonymous crypto transactions. And I got my giggle on when I saw that. And here's why. There's OTC. You'd never know about it. I can literally hand you a device, you hand me money, and we both walk away, all done. Who's going to know? Who's going to know? Who's going to know that I went out and bought a hardware? I wrote the keys down. You pop the keys into your wallet, you look to see, and boom, the money is there. Who's going to know about that transaction? You'd have to be buying something that the government would be able to track, like a car or real estate. That's how you'd have to do that. That's what I'm paying attention to. What is going to have a significance when it comes to the next phase, which is huge amounts of adoption? I want to see how people are going to be leveraging their Bitcoin. So when I look backward, you know, at $100 million gaming fund, you know, with OKX, I told you about BlackRock and Securitize. I told you about the Argentinians talking about, well, we're running to Bitcoin faster than we're running to the US dollar. Fidelity, their potential Ethereum spot ETF. You know, BlackRock, there's a rumor that BlackRock might pull back from their push for an Ethereum spot ETF, and here's why. There's just not enough rancor about it. There's not enough from their customers saying that they want it. They did the Bitcoin one, and then they said, you know what, but let's do the Ethereum one because that's 1 and 2. Made sense. If I were them, I would keep going. I'd probably introduce 1 or 2 more. I'd probably introduce Solana. I'd probably introduce 1 more after that. The 1 more? I don't know. You know there's a petition for Shiba Inu, right? Yeah. Do I think that's going to happen? No. Could it happen overseas, though? Every time I say something, I always have to tell myself to think about overseas because not everything happens here. Not everything happens in the United States. So, yeah, you know what? I could actually see that. And that would send Shiba Inu just through the roof. Then you have critical vulnerabilities. Anybody that's using an Apple device with their M series chips, you're in high risk because they can be hacked. Now you know why I'm paying attention to not just cryptos, but how cryptos are affected by stocks, bonds, just everything, how it all plays together. Now, normally you wouldn't be thinking about Apple from a hardware perspective, but I think about Apple from a hardware perspective because they are designing their own chips, and that chip has a vulnerability, a major one, a severe one, right? And I think Apple's lost their mojo. I really think that when was the last time Apple innovated? A headset? They didn't innovate the headset. Microsoft's HoloLens was there first in terms of that level of headset. Meta has a headset that's way cheaper that'll give you just as much joy. I mean, Apple's is better than Meta's, but Meta's is so cheap that the dollar for amount of joy that you get is far greater with Meta. Apple has not innovated in a long time. They've been falling back on their iPad, their iPhone. There's nothing else going on. So you sit there and you're kind of like, really? And that's kind of upsetting because they're about to give away, their whole AI space. It'll take them years to catch up, if they catch up. Everybody's buying up everybody else. They had an opportunity to buy Anthropic, they didn't. or it looks like they're not going to be able to because other people are lining up to try to buy, FTX's piece of Anthropic. You see how Anthropic is AI, FTX is a defunct platform, defunct, centralized exchange. Do you see how it plays together? That's why I'm looking at the news. That's why I dig in. Everybody can talk about Bitcoin this and Bitcoin that and blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at the news because the news, those macro and micro events are going to affect the industry as a whole, or specific coins, or specific coins. But that's what I'm expecting over the next week is a little bit more talk about the halving event. I think more people are starting to become educated. Not enough, not nearly. You have so many people involved in Bitcoin spot ETFs that have no idea what Bitcoin really is. Hence, they're not doing anything directly because people like you and I, we're doing it directly. We want Bitcoin, we go get Bitcoin. We don't go ask somebody to go get Bitcoin. We go do it ourselves. Just saying. There are other coins out there where you've got to have your wallet and you've got to connect to a decentralized exchange to get a coin. I do it. Other people do it. If you know how to do it, great. If not, well, you're not ready for it yet. Or I need to put together a little call and we can talk about it. But that's what's going on. So I'm looking for more news that's going to affect long-term adoption. I don't know if you've noticed, but that's really how I get my news. That's really what I'm paying attention to. That's short-term, Bitcoin volatility and everything else. That's easy to deal with. If you know what it is and what it does and how it operates, you're fine. If you don't, you panic, you sell. That's how that works. So we're hovering at the 65K mark about right there when it comes to Bitcoin. Nobody should be upset. When Bitcoin hit like 50, 55, people are already breaking even. Some people were even already in the green. So at 65, most people are in the green. For real or for real. So my thing for you guys is I want to know, what coins are you looking at and why? Somebody brought up a question to me, not a question, but they made a statement. They said, well, if you move from proof of work to proof of stake, you are now a security. And I'm like, the technology behind it might be different, but the level of decentralization and everything else behind Ethereum, how is it a security? And I'm not playing. I really want somebody to explain to me how Ethereum could possibly be looked at as a security. Make it make sense for me. Because I'm not seeing it. And I'm not trying to be dense. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm literally asking you to tell me why you think it would be a security. Because I don't. I can understand if you were ICP, right? Because that particular coin is not decentralized enough. Not even close. I can understand if you just had an ICO last week. Not even close. You're a security. And there's certain situations where I can definitely see you're a security. When Ethereum first came out, security, I could say yes. Easily. I can say yes easily. Now? Yeah, nah. Can't say that. Cardano? Yeah, nah. Can't say that. I can't say it. Just because you can put your fingertips on the people that create these coins or have created these coins, right? It doesn't mean that they're the only ones developing on that platform, the only ones that are, actually developing that coin, that project going forward. So Vitalik Buterin is the face of Ethereum, but he's not the only developer. It's very decentralized, almost ridiculously so. So I need somebody to break that down for me because I'm just not seeing it. In which case that means that I don't see how, because when you point at Ethereum, you're pointing at a huge ecosystem. And then what would you be doing? You'd be turning around and looking at Avalanche and looking at Solana next, right? You're going to tell me those are securities? I don't see how. I don't see how. So is it a losing battle? Hell yeah. Abso-freaking-schmootly. Big time losing battle. Anyway, I don't want to keep you guys today. I just want to get a couple of things off my chest. That's what I'm looking at from the last week, and this is what I'm looking at the week going forward. So let's get it going. All right. This is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Don't forget, read all the articles online at growmybag.tv. And Mona, thank you so much for being our very first YouTube channel supporter. Thank you very much. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.